Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nimbus Live Reward DevOps in Action. My name is Ifebu Chomeke. I'm a DevOps engineer here in Nimbus Compute. So whether you are a career switcher or a small business is needing automation or anything like that, today we'll talk about DevOps, we talk about Nimbus Compute, and also we just go through everything together. Happens here is that I'm going to go through the slides, we're going to go through everything that we're going to do over here. There's going to be a section whereby anyone could ask question, you understand? You just pop up your question, we'll answer your question. So when we get there, anyone could ask any question you want. So without wasting your time, let's get there. About Nimbus Compute, our mission is to help startups and aspiring DevOps engineer, even those with no technical background, integrate confidently into a real-world DevOps career. So whether you're someone that's like, let's say, for example, you're trying to switch your career into DevOps, or you're a junior engineer still finding DevOps difficult, like the project part of it, and also anything like that. That's what we do in Nimbus Compute, and we tend to focus on project-based DevOps mentorship. We don't do theory, we focus on projects. In this way, you'll be able to have real life experience. So our projects actually kind of focus on production grade, best practice. So that's what we do here. And also in terms of small businesses, we help you automate your infrastructures. We reduce human errors, and also that's what we do over here. So we are wasting your time. Let's get into the next part, Sophie. So why I built Nimbus Compute, actually the company actually it's more of about me, why I built it, you understand? So it all started, I'm from Nigeria, a state called Enugu State, and I started by fixing how doing software, downloading music for people, like installing softwares into their computers, like their Microsoft, the Chrome, and everything like that. So that's how I started. But as I was doing that, I wanted to do something more, do you understand? So as I started my uni as a computer science student, and I started there, then from there I built a website, but I didn't like the coding part, you understand? I don't like coding. So I built my websites over there. When I built the website, I do this thing. I started like taking money from my friends that are musicians. So like, for example, they want you to blog their music on your website. So that's what I do. So I blog their music on the website and all those things. But I still feel like there's still more I need to do. You understand? So after completing my uni, I moved to Dubai, doing menial jobs and all those things like that. But here's the thing, when I was still in market downloading stuff, I helped one of my friend reset his iCloud password, you understand? But then he moved to London, and he started like studying cybersecurity. So we lose contact since then. But when I was in Dubai, so this friend of mine contacted me and let me know about DevOps. And he says that he actually completed his school and he just switched to DevOps and he's earning over 250 grand. So I was like interested. I'm like, I want to do this, you understand? And he says that the only way DevOps is not being taught in school, you understand? It's not something you could get into using certificates and all those things. But the best way to integrate into DevOps and the roadmap that actually works is if he mentors me, you understand? And it's going to cost money because he's going to take his time. You know, when someone mentors, he's like actually him like embedding his knowledge on you, him or her embedding his knowledge on you. But as someone that have been online doing blogging and all those things, I feel like, yeah, I can actually do this in my way. Do you understand? So what I thought is like I could research it, because the website I built back in uni was I did use watching YouTube, Googling and all those things. So I said like, yeah, I can do it. So I started watching tutorials, all those things, and I started becoming very, very overwhelmed, you understand, by so many advices and all those things. I go after certificate, but I couldn't do it. So I had to go back to this friend again and pay for the mentorship, and he actually mentored me. So when he mentored me, I built my first project. I started getting better in DevOps, and I landed my first junior role back in Dubai, you understand, and work as the infrastructure engineer. So as I was going, life is good, everything is going fine, but then I still feel like I still more I need to do you understand? So I decided that, you know what, because when you stay in Dubai, no matter how long you stay in Dubai, you never get in their permanent residence or passport, we don't have human rights, stuff like that. So I decided I want to go, I want to study, I want to go to a country whereby if I give it all, I will get a residence, you understand? So I applied for uni, masters, to do masters both in Canada and United Kingdom. I got both admission, but Canada want me to pay full tuition fee, but UK doesn't want me to pay tuition fee. I mean, doesn't want me to pay full tuition fee, and I can pay bit by bit. You understand? As an African guy, come from like a struggling country, struggling family, and all those things. I'm like, choose UK because I can pay bit by bit. You understand? So when I moved to UK and I'm doing my masters, here's the thing: no company actually takes me for full-time work because as a student, you are meant to work for 20 hours, you understand, per week. So you won't be able to do full-time work for a DevOps role, stuff like that. So that way I was unemployed, so, but I was still studying school, you understand. So I started doing menial jobs. So my first menial jobs was the housekeeping. I did housekeeping for like 3 weeks to 4 weeks, 4 weeks. I didn't last there. So my next job was a warehouse. I was so happy. I was doing like I was starting warehouse. I was happy when I was buying my new boots because obviously you need boot for you to work in warehouse. So I got the boots. I don't last on that job for like, I mean, I did it for like 3 months, I could say. But the reason I did it for 3 months is because they pay weekly. So I got addicted by the money, but I didn't like the jobs. I quit. So one of my friends that got into the country and I helped him integrate very well into the country was actually doing a support work, and he told me, make it, this job is good, like you don't do much job and all those things. And I'm like, you know what? And he said, if I want to do it, there's an agency that's going to train me and I will do the certificate and I will be able to start working as a support work. So I did everything, got the certificate and everything. But here's the thing: the place they sent me to start my first work, they told me to a care worker. You understand? I don't last there for 3 days. Do you understand? And I don't work for the straight up 6 months. But here's the thing: why not working for 6 months? I was applying for my SIA, trying to get my badge so that I can do doorman. Do you understand? And it cost me £1,000 to get the license because they needed police character from both Nigeria and also Dubai. So how that's how everything was going. I got my license and I was working, it was good, everything was fine. Like I like the job, you understand? But here's the thing: the standing up is so difficult. Do you understand? Till I asked one of my head doorman, like he's my friend, but he's a head doorman. I asked him like, how long have you been doing this work? And he says been doing this work for 10 years. I was shocked. In a country like United Kingdom, someone has been doing a menial job like security for 10 years, a job that doesn't like, it's not like um a secured work. It's more of like no contract job, like you understand, whatever shifts, whenever there's shift you do, whenever there's not, like you get paid on what you do. Do you understand? So although I know there's place I'm going to and I'm not stopping there, so I focus on my study. I completed my uni and go back to work. I get my first FTC under Cyber G. That's how I started working over there as a lead engineer, and everything was going fine. And I was helping other people trying to learn DevOps on the side. But there's something you need to understand. Why do my menial jobs when I was doing it? I came across our people that's like stuck. You understand? Whenever whenever the rent get expensive, what they do is that they take double jobs. You understand? Or they work 90 hours. I'm not saying that there's any wrong with the jobs and all those things, but there's other jobs you could do whereby you could work that 6 hours, you understand, per week, and you have time to spend with your family, friends, do what you like, travel, do whatever you like, and still earn good and pay your bills and everything like that. But because there's no one to guide us, there's no one to show us the way, there's no one to like pull us through, there's no one like to actually like give us the pure guidance and help us integrate. It made it difficult that we are stuck with any first job that we get into this country. And whenever anyone travel here, the first thing they do is they start sending money back home, trying to build something that like everyone would expect them back home. There's something you need to understand. You can't live in two countries. It's not possible. Even the president live in one country. You cannot live in two countries. So you have to focus on the country you live and invest in yourself and get better because the country you live got everything. Do you understand? And but like I said, nobody's like there's no should I say like someone that's actually helping the people to integrate into those things, especially tech, which is like, is a big field. Anyone can do whatever you want, you understand? So as I was mentoring people while I was working, so I decided, how about I build something that got respect, something that is very huge and big that could give like anyone I mentor, you give that person foundation. Do you understand? How about I build something that you help people to get jobs, help people get real life experience. Because when you go if you get mentored on the Nimbus Compute and you go for an interview, right? You go for an interview and you explain to recruiters, yeah, I got mentored. I've worked a couple of projects on that Nimbus Compute. A recruiter will hear like, yes, I know Nimbus Compute. You understand? And also, it's a tech company registered here in the United Kingdom, and it's going to be respected if you go through on that Nimbus Compute. And in Nimbus Compute will also help you um optimize your LinkedIn page, help you optimize your portfolio, teach you how to actually apply those jobs, how to tailor your CV for each, because you're not going to use the same CV to actually apply the same job. Do you understand? So that's how Nimbus was actually built. So yeah, I know this story like kind of like long, but I'll cut it short. So that's how Nimbus Compute was built. But let's keep going. So the next one is, what is DevOps? Now, a lot of people have heard DevOps, but still don't understand what it means. A lot of you don't even know what's DevOps. But I'll explain it to you. But I will let you know first. DevOps is a mindset. Do you understand? It's not a career, but it's a mindset. Now, let's read what it says. It says DevOps is a culture and set of practice that brings together developers and operations to build, test, and release software faster, safe, and more reliable. Now, what does that mean? What you're actually explaining to you is that DevOps is the bridge between developers and operation. Do you understand? Now, you could see DevOps, the first three letters there is for developers, and the three letters from operation is from the three letters from ops. Operation is ops, so it brings this together. Now, developers are the ones that build codes. We call them software engineers. That's the people that study computer science. They call them software engineers. You understand? On operation, as the ITs, the ones that make sure that the app is secured. You understand? And like they monitor it and all those things, and also they make sure that this thing, they attend to users and make sure everything is secure on the cloud or on premises and everything like that. For non-technical ones, I'm going to explain this into you so that it makes sense to you. Now, traditionally before, okay, let me use a skyscraper in London. For example, 50-story building in London. The ones that live in, or the office or the penthouse, are actually the operations, and the garage, the car park of that skyscraper for the developer. This is where they live. Now, imagine the collaboration between both of them. It's going to be difficult. I mean, without lift, only stairs. So because when developer build the code, they have to use stairs to move the code to the operations, and the operation will deploy it. When it doesn't work, operation have to move the code back. So this could take years building code and pushing it to like deploying it and all those things. You understand? This could take years. Now, imagine a new tech people coming to that skyscraper and they integrated something we call lift. Do you understand? With lift, in less than a minute, you can go from the garage to actually the penthouse in a minute. Do you understand? So that lift, we call it pipeline. It connects both the 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 background and also this the penthouse. That's what it means by lift. You understand? That's what we call pipeline. Now imagine that lift have door to protect you, have CCTV. Now what we call those things in DevOps is DevSecOps. You understand? It's the security part of making sure that anything that's inside that lift is secure and safe. Eyes watching and making sure it's safe. You understand? We call it pipeline. Now, in a place whereby we want more of deployments, then these IT people build what? More lifts. We call it more pipelines. So you understand? So that's what it means, if that makes sense to you. Now, inside our pipelines, there are a series of jobs before they make sure it gets to the penthouse. And what job is that? You plan it. So you need to set up jobs that inside that pipeline. You plan it, make sure that each job is going to run step by step. Integrate what we call add back. We integrate what we call security. We integrate everything, make sure everything is inside the pipeline. You understand? Because this pipeline is going to run automatic. That's what we call it automation. It's going to run automatic. It's not going to run manually. So everything has to be embedded inside this pipeline, and it's going to run stages by stages. And the first stages is build. This is where your code. So if developers push the code into that pipeline, right, the code started building instantly. You understand? There's something inside that pipeline we call Ubuntu latest. This is like a light OS of Linux that used to build that code. And what actually build that code is Docker. So Docker is where you build your code, and the packages, once after building, it's going to test it. This is where securities like SAST comes in, SCA, stuff like Sonar Cloud, 3V to scan your image and all those things. These are security embedded inside it. You understand? That's the testing part of it. Once you move to testing, it's released. This is where it's going to release. Once it's released, they deploy it. Once they deploy it, they operate it, they make sure everything is fine, they integrate, they make sure the networking is on private endpoints, they make sure that TLC is in place, they make sure that availability Z, availability zone, they make sure everything is in place. And then the monitoring part. The monitoring part is where they implement tools like Prometheus and Grafana or Azure Monitor to monitor the app to make sure that everything is completely okay. So we call this pipeline CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery. From every cloud apps today, from Netflix to banking platform, relies on DevOps pipelines to deliver updates, scale globally, and stay secure. So now, for example, when you come on Instagram, you understand, you're going to see a new update on Instagram, but there's no downtime. Like Instagram didn't even shut down. There's new updates. That's pipeline, because pipeline will let you, any update you make, you just push it straight away. You get deployed instantly. It doesn't wait for anybody. Like you get deployed. Now, sometimes we see new updates on Instagram. Tomorrow, when we wake up, the update is out. This is what we call rollback. It rolls back to the previous deployment. Do you understand? So that's it. So as a DevOps engineer, you're going to be the backbone of every company out there that is being run on cloud. So as a DevOps engineer, you are very, very important. You understand? Company can't do without you. So you're going to be bridge between developers and operation, automate manual work, saving times and reduce errors. So DevOps, when you say DevOps, you talk about speed. So you deliver products faster and reliable. Now, here's the thing. Essential DevOps tools you will master. So here's the thing. For you to call yourself a DevOps engineer, these are tools that you must need to master. There's no shortcut about it. It's a must. And these are tools companies use in real production. The banking app you are using, the WhatsApp you are using, Instagram, these are tools they are using at the back end. Now, one of those tools is infrastructure as code. Now, I'm going to explain infrastructure as code for you for non-technical ones. Now, imagine in the cloud, right? You manually create a VM. Now, what is a VM? A VM is a computer. It's your computers in the cloud. So imagine your physical computer you're using that is in the cloud. In this way, like you don't need your physical computer. All you need is just a computer to access your computer in the cloud, and you can access it in anywhere, and it's secure and safe. You understand? You can do anything you want to do with it. You understand? So, but sometimes people create it manually, especially startups create it manually, which could take a lot of work. Now, for me to explain this into non-technical ones, imagine you go to the market. For example, you have a project, you want to build a house. You go to the market, you purchase everything you needed for you to build the house, from the start to the furnishing to make it a home. Do you understand? You purchase everything. Then you bring all the properties inside the land you want to build the house. It's going to be big. You put it there. Now, when they start building your house, they start building it manually. They start digging foundation, putting the sand, putting the rod, like flooring it, taking it step by step till the painting, the furnishing, and everything and your house complete. This could take 6 months, 1 year manually. Now, imagine whereby when you purchase all those house materials, everything, and you place it on the ground, and you run Terraform, apply, your house stands like a magic. Everything is in position, the curtain, the windows is in place where it's supposed to be. the couch, the kitchen, the stuff, the electronics, everything is in place. It's just like a magic. That's what we call infrastructure as code. And we call it automation. Do you understand? You just literally automate the workload and everything is in place. That's what we call infrastructure as code. So now here's again. Remember the first example I gave, building it manually, that takes time. So let's say, for example, you build that in 6 months, you build your house 6 months, and next you want to build another house, you're going to build again another 6 months. Now, in terms of infrastructure, you see that first arranging of the house before you run Terraform apply. You don't need to do it the second time. This is where automation comes in. And this is where scalability comes in as well. So what do you need to do? You know, in cloud, or let's say in software or stuff like that, in internet, you can copy something, right? So that infrastructure you use to deploy your infrastructure, all you need is what? Secure it at your GitHub repo. So whenever you want to deploy the same resources again, you download it and run it again. So these are very important tools companies use. And one of that tools, we call it Terraform. Do you understand what is Terraform? Terraform is an open source that you can use to automate your infrastructure on the cloud. Now, why it's very, very important is because Terraform can run on every cloud provider, such as GCP, Azure, and AWS. So companies that are working on a big project like to work on different kind of clouds, so they will want to use Terraform to automate their infrastructures. Do you understand? Now, the reason I put Bicep there is for you to know the difference between Terraform and Bicep. Now, Bicep is a native app for Azure. So it's basically only for Azure. Like when you write the infrastructure, it can only work on Azure. But Terraform, when you write the infrastructure, it can work on any cloud provider. Do you understand? The next tools in place is container and image. So Docker, for example. What is Docker? The software engineer is building code. Do you understand? When they build your code, let's say, for example, you are the owner of Instagram, when they build your code on their computer, there's things they're going to download inside the computer, like the programming language. Let's say, for example, they are building a Spring Boot or Node.js or Angular or Spring Boot or anything they are building. Now they're going to download stuff like dependencies, the programming language, and all those things, which will make their code work on their computer. Now, when they move that code to your computer, it's not going to work. So this is where Docker comes in. Docker is like a box, like a container, a box that help you package that your code inside that box. Now that container is a Linux, is a computer, so it's a Linux. It helps you package that your code inside that box. Then it download all those tools that will make that, all those dependencies and all those programming language that will make that your code to work. Do you understand? So once you take it at the box, remember it's a computer. So if you move that box or container to another container, because it have all those things that will make it work, it's going to work on your computer. That's what's Docker. And Docker Hub is where you deploy it. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Now the next tools is orchestration and cloud. Now what's Kubernetes? Kubernetes is an open source whereby you can scale your web app and anything like that. And Instagram major apps runs on Kubernetes. And the difference between Kubernetes and VM, let's say, for example, a virtual machine, you're going to be in charge of maintaining that VM, right? Like, so a VM is like a house you build. You're going to maintain it, secure it, clean it. Like you, apart from living in the house, there are so many jobs you need to do. You understand, to have a house. But a container is like a hotel. You just carry your bag and move in. If you need in 3 rooms, 4 rooms, 5 rooms, once you are done with 5 rooms, you can scale it down to 4 rooms, 3 rooms. Like, it's easy to manage. Do you understand? So that's what Kubernetes, and major apps runs on Kubernetes. You understand? Without any problem or any issue like that. So the next one is Helm chart. So Helm chart is what we use to install applications inside our Kubernetes. You understand? We define what we want to define inside the YAML file, then we run it. Now, the next one is CI/CD pipeline, just like the one I've explained to you, how DevOps works. We call it continuous integration, continuous delivery. You understand? So, and one of these tools is GitHub Action. There's so many of them. There's like GitLab, there's like GitHub Action, there's like Jenkins, And this one is GitHub Action. So GitHub Action is mostly what companies actually use at the moment, and it's easy to integrate into your cloud. It's very, very like easy, friendly, and all those things. Then the next one we call it Argo CD. So what's Argo CD? Argo CD is a GitOps. I didn't say GitHub, I said GitOps tools that you can use for deployment on your Kubernetes. So basically it sees your GitHub repo as the source truth. And with Argo CD, it's going to reduce human error. Now imagine whereby your YAML file that you use to deploy into your Kubernetes, right? There's going to be error like an engineer working on the cluster could like misconfigure something on the YAML file and run apply, -F apply, and it's going to mess up with your Kubernetes. But when Argo CD is in place, it's going to reject that because it's not coming from the source of truth, which is your GitHub repo. It's coming from the terminal. So it's going to reject that. And also it's easy for a rollback. Do you understand? So the next one is security and monitoring. That's something you need to understand here. Security is not an option. Security is not a last option. It's the first thing you need to do when you start building your application. And one of these tools we use for security is Trivy and Sonar Cloud. So what's Trivy? Trivy is used to scan your image for vulnerability. So when your image have been pushed to your ACR, Azure Container Register, you use Trivy to scan it for any secret or anything like that. Now, Sonar Cloud is a static application. It's like SAST, static application security testing. So it scans your source code and everything to make sure there's no misconfigured secret or like your SQL database or anything like that. Now, Grafana and Prometheus. Prometheus is what we install in our cluster here to scrap the matrix so that we can use Grafana to visualize it and make sure that what we monitor is that cluster is like the CPU, the ports, the namespace, and all those things. So these are major tools that you can negotiate. You must know it for you to be valuable enough for company to come after you. You understand? And like I said, once you master these tools, there's no going back. You are a DevOps engineer. So let's move to the next one. Already mentorship. So here is the thing. In Nimbus Compute, we focus on mentorship, and this is how our mentorship looks like. So it's purely on projects and practice. It's not about like it's not theory or going after certificates, because someone that's trying to integrate into DevOps, for you to actually master it, you need practical and you need projects, because at the end of the day, project is what you're going to do at a company. And that's why we work with expertise. You work with people that have already done it and still doing it. And what we bring to you is best practice and production grade. Do you understand? So for example, you want to roll under Nimbus Compute. So what we do is that you book a one-on-one video consultation with us when we talk to each other, understand your background, your goal, and explain to you our mentorship and all those things. And if you agree to go on with the mentorship, because the mentorship is a 5 months mentorship. So if you agree to go on with it, we're going to send you an agreement to sign. Once you have read the agreement and you still want to move on, you sign the agreement, right? So the next thing is that we issue you an invoice, your first payment. You have options to pay in full or pay in 3 months. So, but after you made the first payment, we have to build a learning roadmap for you. And each roadmap, whenever you complete each roadmap, you're going to build a project on it and post it on your LinkedIn for visibility and credibility. So, for example, the first roadmap is Azure. You understand? Azure Essential. You're going to learn Azure Cloud. Once you have completed it, you're going to build a project. Let's say, for example, you deploy like 3 VMs, or let's say, for example, you build an infrastructure with zero trust. So you deploy 3 VMs with 2 separate VNets, 2 separate VNet and subnets, and you pair it with VNet pairing. You make sure that every resources you create is private IP. Do you understand? It's private IP and no public IP. And also you make sure that NSG is actually deployed inside your subnets. And also you're going to deploy key vaults. So what key vault actually do is for you to secure your secret and all those things, and make sure RBAC is enforced and least privilege is given. And also you make sure you put IMA inside it as well. And now you're going to ping that VM, right? Using Azure based on, you're not going to use it, like you're not going to do it outside it, because obviously the main point is for it to be private endpoint, you understand? So that's like, so once you complete that project, you're going to do more interview, mock prep, whereby you explain what you built, how you built it, and what you learned from it, and what you could do to improve this project. Once you're done, you're going to screenshot it and post it on LinkedIn. That's when you started tailoring, tweaking, optimizing your LinkedIn page, because that's where you're gonna get jobs, and also your this thing, your GitHub. And also we focus on more, like I say, I explained, more preparation. We try to get you job ready. And the next thing is and also why going through the mentorship is going to be one-on-one mentorship. So it works like 6 people per co-host. You understand? And you're going to your first start of the mentorship, you're going to work on one-on-one mentorship. But when you started getting to the project, main like end-to-end projects, we call it end-to-end DevOps project. That's where you mix with people, because in terms of DevOps, collaboration is one of the biggest skills in DevOps, and recruiters or hiring manager are requiring for that. You need it because you're going to collaborate, you're going to work in agile methodology or in a sprint mode or anything like that. So you require collaboration. So that's how mentorship looks like in DevOps, and that's why we focus on mentorship, because that's the only roadmap that works. And when I say mentorship, it's practically me, like it's not like I'm teaching you something or someone else is teaching you anything. It's just like we're trying for you to be like us. Do you understand? We're giving you like the best practice and the production grade. We're letting you like we're giving you the shortcut to this. Do you understand? Not wasting your time or anything like that. Do you understand? So let's get to the next part. Now, these are kind of projects you're going to build. Do you understand? Under Nimbus Compute, under the mentorship. And the first project is a microservice project. I don't know if you've heard of microservice. So it's a secure bank. It's like your mobile banking app that you use. Let's say, for example, your Leod Bank or your Monzo Bank or anything like, or your HSBC. So it's basically, this is it. And it's consistent with front end, a back end, and a database. So the front end was actually built with Angular. The back end was actually built with Spring Boot. And we leverage Azure MySQL for the database. And this infrastructure and this database was actually provisioned in a private endpoint. And both of them was actually both front end and back end and all those things have their separate pipelines and separate network, separate testing and everything. And they were deployed inside Kubernetes. So I'm going to show you the architecture of this project. You see. So this is the architecture of this project, right? Because as a DevOps engineer, you need an architecture, not for you, but for you to explain it to the shareholder, the product owner, or non-technical ones. So architecture is a must. So let's say, for example, here's me. Hold on, there's something I need to select here so that will make sense. So this is me, a DevOps engineer. I started by writing the infrastructure code using Terraform. Do you understand? After writing the infrastructure code, I write the infrastructure in a best practice. So I separate it. I separate the environment, the dev, the prod, and the staging. Now, there's something you need to understand. In reproduction, we separate our environments. Why do we do this? So company actually like take precautions, because the dev you are looking over here are like they all provision the same infrastructures, but it's different departments. So the dev you are looking over here is where they test the code firstly with no user, you understand? They're not deployed, like they're going to deploy, but it's not accessible to outside world, you understand? So they are practicing what they are going to deploy to outside world, and where they start to practice that is the dev. So this is like where you could play with non-real information, you understand? You play with it, make sure everything is working. Now, when the dev have actually provisioned the infrastructures and it's working, they move it to staging. Now, this staging, imagine it's just like Burna Boy when he's like performing in O2 Arena. You see the rehearsal place where he rehearsed before he moved to the stage. So that's what we call staging. You understand? This stage is actually it's same as prod, but there's no real user. Now, when you move code to prod, this place you don't joke. This is where like things get serious. You understand? This is where the code will officially be deployed. Like this is the final testing where that once the code is deployed, if there's any problem, it's going to affect company and everything like that. So it's very, very serious. But this project will actually build under Dev. So Dev provision the infrastructure using Terraform to the Azure cloud. And the infrastructure we use for this is Kubernetes, as AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service, ACR, Azure Container Register. The code was actually Dockerized using Docker and pushed to ACR. Now you can see front end and back end, and you can see that back end is connected to a SQL, a database, and you can see a subnet is covering it, restricting access to anyone like that. So after provisioning the infrastructure and deploying it, the code was actually pushed to GitHub. Now, inside GitHub, there's something we call GitHub Action. That's, I've explained it before, GitHub Action. So the GitHub Action runs a CI work. So what CI work does is that it's going to build the code and security is going to run. Once you build the code, it's going to push it to your container register. Do you understand? So you could see the line, how it connects to inside here. So you're going to push the container register. Once the image is there, Sonar Cloud is going to run and we're going to receive email that our job is completed. So we call this thing an alert. Now, Argo CD, it watches our repo. Whenever it sees there is a new commit and the image tag have actually been updated, it's going to pull our image from ACR and deploy it to our Kubernetes. Now, in here, you see the Prometheus and Grafana. We install Prometheus and Grafana using Helm charts. So, and also we set up alerts manager. So, for example, why we set up alert is because imagine no one is watching and system is crashing. We implement Slack using Slack webhook and also implement auto remediation. So what auto remediation does is that whenever there's a pod crashing or anything like that, it does the work for us before we come. You understand? So this is basically the architecture of this banking app. And I'll show you the UI in a minute. So this is the UI of the bank app. So this is the UI of the bank app. You could see that you'll be able to register your accounts inside the bank. When you register your account and log in inside the bank, you'll be able to change your PIN. Then you deposit any amount of money you want, £1 million, you'll be able to deposit that money. And also you'll be able to transfer or withdraw it or export your bank statement. So it's basically the way bank works. You understand? And that architecture is what we actually use. And those tools I explained to you. So you could see the amount of money there. You could see the bank statements if you want to exploit it. You could see where I try to deposit like any amount of money I want. So I pull my PIN inside it and deposit it. The money is going to reflect. Now, behind this, like a video I recorded on this project. This is like the behind where you're building the code. This is like where you build the infrastructures. You could see the back end and the front end and everything like that. You could see the like, yeah, this is basically it. So the next project here is Cloud Plus. So this project was actually built on AWS. So what I actually did here is I deploy an EC2. EC2 in Azure we call it VM. So EC2 is basically a computer. We deploy EC2 in AWS. Then we install CloudWatch so that I can scramble the matrix. So we'll be able to monitor the RAM, the memory, and also we run the infrastructure using Terraform. That's why I told you Terraform can run in any cloud provider or anything like that. And also we implement Lambda and we implement SNS and also email alerts in case of anything like that. It was a good project. More of a SRE, site reliability engineer, is a career inside DevOps. So the next part is Chatbot AI. Now this is an advanced project, and I'll be honest with you, this project landed me 100K contracts. Because so what I did on this project is basically I built a ChatGPT, but it's not a ChatGPT. So it's my own ChatGPT. Do you understand? So I leverage Azure OpenAI and also GPT-4. I created, so when you hear something about AI, so this project is more of AI engineering and DevOps, so kind of AI ops, you understand, AI engineering and DevOps. So because first of all, you need to create the brain. The brain is the AI. So once you create the brain, you're going to deploy it and train it. So when you train it and all those things, it's like ML ops. It's the machine learning of that part. You train the AI and everything. Once everything is working, it's now the time for you to integrate it into your SDLC. So, and how you integrate is you are going to get the endpoint and the API key, and you're going to build a backend using so the backend is going to be built with fast API, and the code you're going to use to build the backend is a Python. So once you have built the backend and everything, and integrate the API key and everything, you're going to Dockerize it and deploy it to Kubernetes and implement all the monitoring parts and everything like that. So that's that kind of project. And I'm going to show you a video of the project. Hold on in a minute. So this is the project here. So like I said, it's like ChatGPT, but it's my own Chat. I build the AI myself. So you could see where like I says, first of all, tell me about it. It says, hello, I'm AI developer assistant. Now here's the thing here. I told him my name is Ifebuchi, and I'm a DevOps engineer, and I'm the DevOps engineer that built you using OpenAI. Do you understand? And it says, hello, Ifebuchi, it's great to meet you. As a DevOps engineer, you have had a significant role in integrating and automating key processes in software development and deployment and all those things. So that's basically that project. Like, it's a very intelligent project that, but it's an advancement. I want you to understand DevOps. Here's the thing, DevOps, like I said, DevOps is not a career, it's a mindset. Inside DevOps, you're going to meet a different careers like cloud engineer, DevOps, DevSecOps. DevSecOps is like the security part of DevOps, but you need to know DevOps. SRE is like site reliable engineer, more of monitoring in depth and all those things. You're going to be reading logs and everything like that. Now we have GitOps. Then we have platform engineering. We have MLOps, AIOps, AI engineering. You have so many of them. You have Kubernetes administrator, loads of them, but you can't just jump into those roles. You have to go through DevOps. DevOps is the foundation that will lead you to those things. And that's what we do in Nimbus Compute. So let's move to the next one. So, and these are the kind of projects that we want you to build. You understand? When you start going through Nimbus Compute, these are how you do it over here. So we focus on best practice and production grade. So here's the thing. Security matters. There is something you need to understand. Security is not an option, it's a must to have. You understand? While building your app applications. So this is Shenzhen, you understand? And it's one of our recent partners. We are currently partnering with lots of a lot of company, but this is our newest partner, and I'll explain to you these tools. So Engine is a real-time DevSecOps security platform that provides complete visibilities, automated threat detection, and risk remediation across software development lifecycle. It scans code to find secrets, vulnerabilities, and misconfiguration so teams can address issues promptly. And there's something, so how I actually come across them is that I was going through my LinkedIn and I got invited. They were like kind of hosting a webinar and I got invited. I read more about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm a DevSecOps engineer and I'm interested in security and all those things. So I attended the webinar where they explained a lot of things to me. And also I asked a couple of questions like, because they explain about AI remediation. I'm like, if we have AI into our workflow and AI does a job, if the job got issue, so who takes the blame, the engineer or the AI? Obviously they say it's the engineer. Well, I still doesn't fit the question that much, so I let it go. But later go an email if I want to talk about their tools or talk about my company and the projects we have in hands and all those things. So I'm like, cool, yes, I want to do it. So I jump on a call with them and have a chat and explain more about the tools and everything like that. So this is what I understand, and this is where it started making sense. These tools, they call it like all-in-one AppSec. So what it does is that, so for example, you start with SAST, static application security testing. Then you move to SCA. The SCA, you move to IAC. And from IAC to what? To CI/CD, and also to secret and all those things. These are the most important place you need to scan your codes. And tools like Sonar Cloud can only focus on SAST. And that's what they call this one all in one. There's so many ways your code could get infected and it could get attacked. And that way could be developer is building your code. Do you understand? Like, let's say, for example, you're downloading the vulnerabilities and all those things. All those code are vulnerable. and all those code are outdated and all those things. So by embedding these tools into your application, it's going to reduce time for you. What do I mean it's going to reduce time for you? There's something we call AI remediation into the tools. So let's say, for example, they scan your code and it receives like a misconfigured configuration, secrets, or edits, anything like that, or API key that is exposed. So it actually, or like code that is vulnerable that you need to change. So let's say, for example, you need to change this code. You need to manually go and change this code. That's what you do traditionally. Go and change it. And this takes time. Now, AI is going to suggest, do you want me to change this code for you? These are options you need to do. So it's going to give you the power if you want the AI to change it. So when you click AI to do it, it does it for you instantly. So it loses time. Now, in terms of your application, working on your workflow and all those things, in terms of this part, it could take a lot of engineers to work on that code. But by having tools like this, it's going to reduce your time because AI is there to help you automate your, like, to reduce time. And also it's good for cost optimization. So that's why, like, you know what, this is a very important tool in DevOps, and I want to partner with them. Understand? And it makes work very easy, secure, and scalable. And here's the thing. You can actually integrate these tools into your computer, like your local computer first before you start doing anything. So it's going to scan your computer for any open port, for anything like that. It's going to scan it. Now you're going to integrate these two also into your GitHub repo. So these two can actually be implemented into GitHub, Jenkins, Azure DevOps, and also GitLab, but they call it all in one. And also, here's the thing. These are tools we tried for our students to learn. Do you understand? Because these tools are newly. It was actually founded in 2021 in Madrid, Spain. So these are new tools that's coming in application. And we try to let our students get first hand of it. So when you learn these tools and learn Sonar Cloud and all those things, when you try to, you're going to reference it on your CV. So when you explain it to your to the recruiters, they're going to be wow. They haven't heard about the tools, but you already have options, ways to save money for company, because there's a DevOps engineer company what ways for them to save money and time. Do you understand? So, and these tools give you everything. So integrating with Nimbus, learners use Zenshin to scan GitHub Actions workflow, Terraform files, Helm charts, and Kubernetes EMS. Learn how to identify and fix risk security misconfiguration, not just theoretical. So you can implement it into pipeline shared, IAC scanning, secret and misconfiguration as well. These are people like we have actually mentored, and one of them is One Day. So One Day says, I spend most talking tutorial hell, learning theory, but never building anything real. Neighbors change everything. They put me straight into hands-on DevOps project. That project helped me land my first 65K role. It wasn't just learning, it was becoming job ready. These are just a couple of people we have actually mentored, but lots of them. Some of them are actually on our website. So Sarah is a career switcher moving from a cleaner. So he says, I'm still in the program and I'm honestly blown away. Everything Nimbus promised, hands-on practical, real-world DevOps is exactly what I'm getting. I've already built and deployed my first pipelines and feel like I'm finally in control of my career path. That's very good of her. So the next part says, Mohammed says, during interviews, I spoke about my Nimbus project like it was full-time jobs, because that's how really it felt. There's something you need to understand in Nimbus Compute. We train you in a way whereby you will be able to build a full end-to-end project. You'll be able to share your screen and explain to recruiters. Do you understand? Each line of the code, why you use these tools instead of these tools, what you could do to improve this project. You will literally walk recruiters through those projects from the starting of the application to the monitoring part of everything. You will be well technical. You understand? Because at the end of the day, they want you to be very technical. There's so many tools you need to learn in DevOps. But I want to let you know that 20% in DevOps, 20% is tools, 80% is debugging, going to know how to fix problems. Do you understand? And DevOps is a career where, like, you don't need to be, you can come from non-technical background to it, and there's less, you don't need to code. Do you understand? You just need to understand. You need to be curious. You need to keep on working. I'll be honest with you, it's continuous learning. You never stops. Once you get into DevOps, you never stops, because, like I told you, DevOps is a mindset, but inside that DevOps, there's so many careers inside it. So DevOps can actually lead you to the future. And if you know the future is the cloud, DevOps, AI, Kubernetes, and all those things. So yeah, let's move to the next part. So here's the thing. If you want to join our DevOps, like I've explained it to you, we focus on real-world projects, hands-on cloud training, one-on-one mentorship, DevSecOps, and CI/CD expertise, lifetime community answer. We have Discord with over 80 people already on it. So the price for, here's the thing, for non-technical ones, the price originally is £2,000, but we're offering 48 hours offer for it. So we're cutting it to 1,600. And the price for technical ones is 1,850, but we're bringing it to 1,500. So you could book a free consultation and apply for the co-host and demo. So here's where you could actually book the consultation. So you can come here and book the consultation. Is either you click get a free consultation, fill in your information. They will send you a link inside your email, or you could actually email us, or there's a chat box over here. You can actually chat and let us know. Do you understand? We'll let you know. So yeah. So let's talk about DevOps. So if you have any question, this is where you could ask questions and I'll attend to you. You understand? So feel free to drop your questions and I'll answer every questions. So the first question says, how long does it really take to become a DevOps engineer? So for you to become a DevOps engineer, it could take you, in terms of real projects, hands-on projects and all those things, it's going to take you 5 months for you to call yourself a DevOps engineer. So the next question says, how can I join your community, sir? Like I said, you could just start. If you want to book a consultation, free consultation, and secure your slot in the next 48 hours, just go to the website or email us and we get you sorted. And if you want to join the Discord community, all you need to do is email us and we'll send you the Discord link and we'll be able to join your fellow engineer where we talk about DevOps and all those things. This next question says, please, okay, hold on. The next question says, please, will you share this recording? Yes. Who built the code? I don't like coding. Where do I get the code to deploy? So here's the thing. I've explained it to you. Software engineer, that's the developers. They're the one that build the code. You're not the one that build the code. You are the one to automate the infrastructures. You're the one to build the pipeline so that that code will run through that pipeline. Do you understand? So the code is going to run through that pipeline. So you're the one that will build the pipelines. That's all you needed to do. But who builds the application code is the developer, the software engineer, not you. That's why I said in DevOps, there's less coding in DevOps. There's not much coding. Skills and technologies a beginner should focus on. So if you can't afford the mentorship that Nimbus Compute do, but you want to get started just to be doing stuff like that, I will advise you to focus on these tools. Focus on learning Terraform. I've already said it. Learning Terraform. First of all, start with Linux. You understand? You need to start with Linux Essential. You need to learn how to create files, how to move around files, how to delete, how to nano into a file. You need to learn the networking part of it. You need to not learn the HTTP, you need to learn the HTTP, the subnet, the VNet, like the firewall, the NSG. You need to learn all those good stuffs. Now, from there, you're going to learn Git and GitHub, because you need to know how to push and merge code. You need to know how to work in collaboration. Do you understand? Then the next part is where you choose your cloud provider. Here's the thing. Azure is used by enterprises. You understand? Like banks, HBC, all those things. Why AWS are used by startups and all those things. So in terms of Europe and all those things, Azure is mostly used. And in terms of US and Canada, AWS is used. But here's the thing you need to understand. Like I said, DevOps is a mindset. I've never learned AWS, but I've worked on AWS. That's because I learned Azure. Azure is going to make you understand cloud in a way you can actually work on both AWS and Azure. Because at the end of the day, the 80% of tools Azure use is what AWS use. So all you need is just to familiarize yourself in the cloud. That's all you need. It says, can you pay instruments? Yes, you can pay. You have options to pay in full or you pay in 3 months' time. First 3 months, that's when you're going to pay. You pay installment. So that's it. And also, you have 1 week for refund. Let's say, for example, you enrolled to the course and you don't like it in a week time, you get your fully refund. So the next question says, is it true that AI is threatening DevOps? And how did you know yourself get into DevOps? I've explained how I got into DevOps through hands-on projects and mentorship, and how I landed my first role in Dubai, and how I moved to UK, and how I completed my school and started working on my first FTC under Cyber G, and how I built my company. So in terms of AI threatening DevOps, no. AI, you need to understand that AI have to do with DevOps. Do you understand? Because AI is an application. An application needs automation and scalability and all those things. And DevOps is one that does this. That's why we have something like AIOps. DevOps cannot die, but DevOps is evolving. That's why you could see something like platform engineering, site reliability, SRE, site reliability engineer. You see GitOps, you see AIOps, MLOps, that's the machine learning part of it, AI engineering. That's where you create AI and you train the AI and all those things. So DevOps can die because DevOps is meant for application lifecycle. Do you understand? So instead, AI is going to help DevOps automate the infrastructure more faster. AI is going to help DevOps build the infrastructure way more faster. Do you understand? If that makes sense to you. The next question says, what's a day in life as a DevOps engineer? Well, I don't know how to answer those questions because working as a DevOps engineer can be in a different ways. But you could work as a contract engineer earning like 600 to 700 pounds daily, or you work full-time jobs where you could work 38 hours per week, right? You could work from 6 to 12 or how you want to work. You can actually do a full-time work and still have a contract work at the side. DevOps is like, it's like a freedom to you. Do you understand? So question C is, I would like to know if the mentorship program could count on my CV as work experience. Are it quite difficult getting jobs in the UK without UK experience? That's a very good, brilliant question. And that's why we built Nimbus Compute. So you're going to work projects under Nimbus Compute and you're going to reference it on your CV. And you do get reference under, you say like, yeah, I work on projects under Nimbus Compute and all those things. If your visa let you work, you could actually put it that you're doing like charity work or you're doing like a internship under Nimbus Compute. And yeah, depending on how your visa, if your visa allows you to do internship, free internship and all those things. And you will get reference. I'm going to reference you. So this is why, like I said, this is why I don't do this in person, I do it on that company so that you can actually direct our people, help our people, put our people through. Like anyone that's like trying to scale their career, let them know that like in this country, the sky is not your limit. You can actually do anything you want and all those things. We actually give you everything to get you that job. So in the next 5 months, we'll make sure we get you job ready. We train you on the mock interview. I'm a senior DevOps engineer and I've been in this work for a long time. So I have no questions that recruiters are going to ask. So make sure we prep you with that questions and everything like that so that you'll be ready. Do you understand? So yeah, but if it's competitive, DevOps is competitive, but we're going to make sure you get the job. So the next question says, do you need a certificate after training to get a job after training? Now, let me explain to you something. I'll say this again. The best thing that happens to everyone is DevOps. And I'll tell you, DevOps are actually made for dropouts. I'll be honest with you. Here's the thing. Nobody cares about your certificate, whether AZ900 or wherever. Kubernetes administration, nobody care, or CKA, all those things. Nobody care about the certificate because at the end of the day, certificate prove that you can cram. Why project prove that you can actually do the job? So what they care is your project. What projects have you worked on? Can you actually explain to us how you can actually deploy an infrastructure with zero trust? How can you use GitOps? These are these questions they're going to ask you, and you can't learn on certificates. You have to do project for you to master it very well. Do you understand? So you need to make sure. So certificate can't get you a job in DevOps. Like I'll tell you, DevOps is a career whereby it doesn't need salary. It's not like cyber security or anything like that. DevOps is a career that you don't need certificates or anything. You need focus on project and practical. And if you check, and in 2025 like this, DevOps is top 3 tech career that's in demand right now. And it's going to be like this in years and years and years. So the question C is also, is the mentoring for DevOps or DevSecOps? And how are you able to that MLOps like a further learning? Now, let me explain to you something here. When you work on projects, there's something you need to understand. SRE is like the monitoring part of it. You're going to do that in DevOps. DevSecOps is the security part of it. Security is it's not like a last option. It's the first thing you need to do, right? Kubernetes administrator, you're going to deploy on Kubernetes. You're going to work on Kubernetes, right? The GitOps, you're going to use Argo CD for you to deploy your applications to your to Kubernetes. So you're going to use Argo CD. Now, MLOps, AIOps, all those things are scalable. So you need to start from DevOps. And also here's the thing, cloud engineering. So cloud engineering are the engineers that works in cloud like AWS, Azure, and GCP. They're in charge of creating and managing resources in cloud. Also, they're in charge of the checking the cost optimization, the security part of it, giving IMA and RBAC and all those things. We do all those things in Nimbus Compute. So we tackle everything. So all those things are part of projects. So we don't only focus on pipelines. No, we could focus on all those things. So yes, you'll be able to do DevSecOps on that Nimbus Compute. Is who corrects the code if there is a problem during deployment. So let's say, for example, if you're talking about the application code, it's not you. So you're going to contact the developer. That's why you work in collaboration, work in agile methodology in Sprint. So if there's a problem with the code, the developer is there to fix it. Your own is to build the pipeline so that they'll be automating. That's why they need your pipeline to be testing the code, making sure everything is working and all those things. Do you give discount for student based in Africa or the fee cuts across? Here's the thing. What we do is mentorship, and it's 5 months mentorship where you have access with a senior DevOps engineer. Now, this is how the class works. So the class is 2 days per week and it's 4 hours. So like, let's say, for example, Friday, Saturday, 2 hours. And it's going to be one-on-one mentorship. So like, the person is like literally embedding his knowledge on you. So it's more of like, it's not teaching. It's more like helping you get job ready, master these things. It's going to give you the shortcut, no BS. It's going to tell you the whole truth. It's going to put you at a particular something you need to learn instead of generalizing it or like wasting your time. So this is more than a mentorship. And that's why the price is like that. And if you check the price like that, you see that it's not even up to, let's say, £20 per hour. When the DevOps engineer is actually earning like £600 or £700 per day. So he sees that he's just doing it for the company and also helping the person. Do you understand? So the price stays like that. The next question says, I'm an AWS solution architecture, but I want to learn DevOps, especially CI/CD and CloudFormation and Terraform. Here's the thing. We focus on Azure. So if you're learning it, if you want to get mentored other Nimbus, you have to go through Azure. But you'll be able to master all those things, even the CloudFormation, the CI/CD and DevOps and the Terraform and all those things. And this question says, can we use your platform as experience was completed for our CV? There's something you need to understand. If you become a DevOps engineer under us, this is what we do for our students. If you become a DevOps engineer under us, so what we do here is that if we got a project we're working on, we do refer you to do that project and get real life experience and production grade and best practice of it. And you're going to reference that on your CV. So yes, we do that. If you qualify and your visa let you do that. So the question says, hi, please, for someone already in project management and want to be positioned for cloud careers, would you advise upskilling it to become a solution architecture or DevOps engineer? My advice is for you to become a DevOps engineer, because if you go solution architect, you're still going to be, so many knowledge you need to learn, and you will be able to learn it through DevOps. Do you understand? So in my own mind, I will go for DevOps. DevOps is continuous learning. You keep up learning. You don't stop. Do you understand? So that's DevOps for you. So this question says, would you be the one doing the teaching? Also, when you say one-on-one mentoring, will you hold classes for those that are in a full-time jobs? Maybe they are available from 6 p.m. down. So yes, I try to pull the class at weekends when I'm free. So yeah, I'm the one that does the mentorship. But if students get bigger, I do have other engineers like me that will be able to do the class. You understand? So, but at the first, like especially the project parts, I make sure I'm there so that you master the project very well. And yes, we'll be able to hold class for anyone that's in full-time jobs, especially like I said, our class is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. or from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. That's how our class goes. It's not like it's a morning stuff or something like that. So this question is nice. It says, what will likely be our starting wage for the course? Now, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you to answer this your question. DevOps is not an entry role. Yes, that's the truth part of it. DevOps is not an entry role. DevOps is a job whereby if you master it perfectly, you can jump into a mid engineer or lead engineer and be earning like 75K. Yeah, there's salary of 45, 35, 50K, 65, and all those things. But it does not matter. What matters for you to master DevOps, because if you master DevOps, you can jump into a price range that's gonna scare you. You could actually be working like, here's the thing, when you learn DevOps is fully remote. So you'll be able to work like you could actually learn DevOps and become a DevOps engineer and be working for a company in US. I've worked for a company in US whereby I was earning like $100 per hour. Yes, $100 per hour. Do you understand? So you can actually easily do that. And you can actually do two contracts at the same time or have a full-time job and still be doing contracts by the side of it because you still have free time to do anything. It's whatever that comes, like whatever you like. But if there's a job, there's a job, because if you go to your LinkedIn page and now you search DevOps and put the location United Kingdom, you're going to see over 500 jobs there. Which say with the 1,600 be split in 5 months, making it no, your first 3 months is when you're going to pay the money. It's not going to split to 5 months. No, the first 3 months is when you need to pay the money complete. So you have to split it in 3 months, your first 3 months. This question says, what are the chances of doing DevOps on your own? Keep trying, but it's hard to stay motivated to learn. Let me tell you something. You can't do DevOps on your own. That's the honest truth. You need to find someone that's currently doing it and is willingly to teach you. Why? Is because there's over 30 tools in DevOps and expect you to know those tools. So you could learn Terraform, and when you move from Terraform to Azure or Kubernetes, you're going to forget Terraform. You're going to forget everything you learn. Do you understand? And there's so many certificates. You might think, oh, certificate will be the right way. There's so many certificates you're going to acquire. But at the end of the day, certificate is not going to get you the job. So find a mentor. Even if it's not under Nimbus, find a mentor. That's like the person that's willing to teach you and knows how to, not just a mentor, someone that you see that have built projects, he knows projects, and he can actually explain it. That's an engineer that can build projects, but they can't explain what they built. An engineer that masters everything and actually come out and explain all those things. Do you understand? That's the only way. Understand? That's the only way. So DevOps is not like cybersecurity or that tech that you can do by yourself or you do by getting certificate. No, that's not DevOps. So I think that's the end of the question. So again, I said you have 48 hours to secure your slot. And if you want to book a free consultation, because we need to talk about your background, know how everything was. So if you want to secure your slot in next 48 hours, just go to the website. Over there, you'll be able to send us an email or write information, anything you want to know about. Then we'll reply you with the link, with the calendar where you could book a free consultation, and we'll go from there and onboarding. So thank you all for joining us. We believe in your potential, whether you are just starting out or switching careers or you're not alone. So yeah, you just register now for the mentorship cohorts, free consultation available for 24 hours. Book your one-on-one call at Nimbus Compute. So you could either email us at info@nimbuscompute.co.uk or go to LinkedIn page, search Nimbus Compute, our page is there, or go to our website and I'll do all those things. So I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar, and we'll find a way to share it to you guys so that you can receive it and rewatch it again if you want to watch it again. So All right. See you guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.